What's up, guys? I'm Lunatic, coach of the Brookhaven Vets. This week, oh shit, what week is it? Week 4. We're going up against Dave and the Minnesota Victinis. And as I mentioned last week, I was gonna have to figure out how to break through the team because it seems pretty fat. And it does have some scary threats as well. So his team consists of Thunderous Incarnate, Florges, Crocodile, Vaporeon, Mesprit, Sandslash, Infernape, Registeel, Dredagon, Exploud, and Mega Venusaur. So we've used Mega Venusaur before. We know how fat and annoying that thing can be. Dave drafts almost the same thing every time. So I kind of, have a good feel for what his team does. Some new addition for him. He started using Florges and Vaporeon recently. The Mesprit, Sandslash, and Dredagon and Exploud were things that I have not seen him use before. And Infernape, he picked up Infernape as an alternative to Victini because that was taken. But, he kind of brings the same thing to every game as well. There's little variation. So I'm predicting him to bring Thunderous, Crook, Infernape, Registeel, Mega Venusaur. And I think he'll choose to bring Vaporeon as his last mon, because I do have a Darmanitan, and Vaporeon would be theoretically a good answer to Darmanitan, because nothing else in the team takes it too well. I don't know if he'll rely just on Crocodile for that. He might also bring Sandslash, because that can also kind of deal with Darmanitan. And he has brought Sandslash a few times, I guess because it's his only form of hazard removal, he feels like he's forced to bring it. But I don't mind if he does, because I am bringing hazards, but it also stops, I'll just start with that then. I'll start with Frostlass. Frostlass is my spiker, and it's also a spin blocker, so I don't really mind the Sandslash. I'm a very, very bulky Frostlass with max HP, 8 defense, and then max special attack modest. Dave doesn't really speed creep at all, so Frostlass is just, ooh, I just thought of something. But yeah, so Thunderous is gonna outspeed this no matter what, and everything else on his team is gonna get undersped. He doesn't run Scarf or anything like that. I am Spike, Taunt, Ice Beam, D-Bond. I've been debating if I want to keep D-Bond or if I want to bring Shadow Ball, because Shadow Ball lets me hit the likes of Mesprit. It lets me hit Vaporeon for more damage. Lets me hit Infernape on a switch, because I could have run max speed to outspeed Infernape, but I really wanted the extra damage on Ice Beam, and because this allows me to take hits from other things with all this HP investment, and I do have the Cold Berry for knockoff from Crocodile. And in my head, I was thinking D-Bond because I can trap something like the Infernape. I like the combination of Taunt D-Bond because then something's forced to kill me. But Shadow Ball actually might be better. It also hits Registeel for a little more damage. I mean, this can take out one of his fatter mons still. Like Mega Venusaur, if I taunt that and then force it to kill me, I can D-Bond the following turn. I want this thing to get up all its spikes. I don't know if I'll get all 3, but I do think it's very possible to get up 2. And it's just here to be annoying. Ice Beam puts a lot of things on his team, such as Thunderous and Crocodile, Sandslash, Dredagon, Venusaur before Mega. Even when he does Mega, it does a decent amount. So, that is Frostlass. Next we have Nidoking, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Ice Beam, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Taunt. Those 3 moves cover all of his team. Sludge Wave with Life Orb, Sheer Force does enough to, after one spike, a 96% chance to 2-hit KO Vaporeon, but if he does bring Protect, obviously, but it's not a switch. Ice Beam Earth Power again covers like his team. Taunt. I'm thinking of leading with this to counter a Registeel lead. That would set up hazard. This thing can take on the Registeel, taunting it. It can really just seismic toss me. I do think he needs to bring a second attacking move because I have my ghost type. He might just opt to bring maybe like T-Wave to deal with Frostlass. I don't know, but I think he needs something to hit Frostlass. Otherwise, I'm just gonna hazard stack him. Because he brings typically seismic toss, rock, toxic, and something else. So yeah, taunting that, and I get off really good damage. Registeel is something that's hard to, typically can be hard to break. Nidoking does it pretty easily with Earth Power, even 2 Spadef Registeel. So that's how I'm dealing with that. I'm bulky, pretty bulky. 68 speed is speed creeping. Sorry. I just ran, like, as I was talking, I just got sick instantly. What is this Nidoking? Speed creeping. I think this is speed creeping a no speed Crocodile, I believe. Because he typically runs his max defense and fish. That's what it looks like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. I will double check that. Is that something? Wow, this looks really bad. I'm just gonna look up Venus' speed real quick. I'm pretty sure. It has speed Venus, bro. Yeah, easily. So yeah, that's for Crook. So yeah, that's for Crook. Okay. Oh, alright. So next we have Panchi, the Conkeldurr with Assault Vest, Guts, Drain Punch, Poison Jab, Facade, Ice Punch. This thing has a lot of speed on it. This speed is on the off chance he brings Florges. So I can outspeed and hit it with a Poison Jab. Now, the fact that I'm saying that I listed the 6 ones I think he's bringing, and I'm preparing for one that I didn't say. If I don't prepare for that and he does bring it, it definitely would catch me off guard. This speed also, it's not going completely to waste because it still lets me outspeed the likes of Vaporeon, which I think is the next fastest mon to Florges, I want to say. Because Mesprit is base 80, Florges is 75, I think. I'll check that real quick. Florges is, yeah, 75. Oh, well, I'll talk about that one next, I guess. So yeah, I get to outspeed the Vaporeon and like Drain Punch it. He typically brings Toxic on a lot of things. He brings like Sludge Bomb, Mega Venusaur. He brings Skull Vaporeon. So I think there's a good number of chances that I get Status, and with the Assault Vest, Guts, I'll be doing a lot of damage. I also have a bunch of attack investment, 232 attack, adamant, speed is 244, and then 32 HP. Without Guts, Ice Punch has a roll to kill Thundurus, and I don't take too much from that thing. Dave showed, I think it was last week, he showed something really interesting on Thundurus for him, which was he brought Thunder Wave. Usually he just brings 4 attacks and with like Wise Glasses or Expert Belt. Just seeing Thunder Wave from him, that's definitely unexpected. But I think Conkeldurr deals with the Florges, yes, but Thundurus is what I was trying to say. So next up we have 50% off. I just felt like that fits so much because that's the parody anime of Free, and it's a Braviary. So I'm bringing Scarf Braviary with Defiant, Brave Bird, Superpower, U-Turn, Return. I'm going to be clicking U-Turn a lot. There should be. This is a nice bring because Crocodile cannot come in on this because it would give me the Defiant boost. The Registeel might not want to come in because Braviary does get superpower. I outspeed Thunderous, which is super important. I do something like 80% with the turn. Thunderous, I think, is the biggest threat to my team, just because the only thing on my team that outspeeds it is the Raikou. Raikou is not coming because I would need to run Aura Sphere on it, but in order to run Aura Sphere, I have to run Rash Nature. I can't run Timid, which defeats the purpose of bringing it because I wanted to outspeed Thunderous. So, that's more so why I put Keldra on the squad over Raikou. So, yeah, Braviary is max attack adamant, 160 speed, allows me to outspeed that Thunderous and the rest of HP. Yeah, I had to bring a Scarfer, I felt, for the Thunderous, and this seemed to work out. It also lets me, like, outspeed, outspeed, like, Infernape, and kill that with Brave Bird. Stuff like that. For Venusaur, having a flying type is also very nice, because Brave Bird. So yeah, that for the... Okay, these last two mons are the fun ones. So I'm bringing Segoy the Darmanitan, Choice Bandage here for U-Turn, Flare Blade, Fire Punch, Sand Headbutt. The fun fact about this Darmanitan, being max attack adamant, Flare Blitz 2 AK with Victorium. That's not an answer. I'll pull up the couch. I was like, you know, I have to deal with Victorium, that'll be an issue. Darmanitan, let's do this, that. Also, Flare Blitz fucking, it dumpstered the Mega Venusaur as well. Let's see. This is max HP, max defense, and bold. This is Flare Blitz Darmanitan. It says 14% chance, okay, but I will be getting spikes up. So it's a 99.6% chance to 2 KO after one layer of spikes and leftover recovery. It's not a switch in. Although he could protect and get more leftovers, it would then make it a roll for the next one to go. Depending on the first one. It's not a very good switch in. What is a good switch in is the not Sand Slash. Like this it's nothing. The Crook. This is offensive Crook. Dave doesn't run that. 252 Impish. Flare Blitz is doing 62 to 73. So, I am also bringing the Fire Punch, which as you see doesn't do nearly as much. But there will be instances, maybe I don't want to, you know, kill myself with the Flare Blitz. I'm running U-Turn, which is great. And then I'm also running Zen Headbutt. I brought that for... Why did I forget already? I have it for the Mega Venusaur if I don't want to kill myself. The Flare Blitz, Zen Headbutt does more than Fire Punch would. And it also hits the Infernape if I don't want to kill myself. Like, it's really... I have to pick and choose how I'm willing to take damage with Darmanitan. And also with my two Taunters, if he does somehow get rocks up, I have to be extra careful with it. I'll probably just smack one thing with the Flare Blitz and go down if rocks get up, because it'll be hard to conserve health on it if rocks do get up. Rocks hurts 3 of the members of my team, and I'm not bringing removal, so yeah, those taunts are really important. He does have a lot of things on his team that get Stealth Rock, but I'm hoping the offensive pressure for my team will, that plus taunt on 2 mons, stop him getting up rock. His only hazard setting is Stealth Rock. He doesn't have a spike. I guess maybe we can get speed spikes, but he doesn't run that. So yeah. And lastly we have Arigato the Kartana, another choice band user. I wanted to break through his fat, so double choice band. It has Leaf Blade, Sacred Sword, Smart Strike, Psycho Cut, 220 attack, Jolly, 248 speed and then 40 HP, which I have now realized I don't need, but I will keep it on because this just occurred to me. I had it originally. That 40 HP allows me to take a Life Orb T-Bolt from Thunderous, but Dave did show that he's willing to bring Incinerate. He brought that for Fortress when he faced Rishmal, so I could definitely see him bringing that for Cortana. And also this one for Life Orb, which he doesn't run. He would run Wise Glasses or Expert Belt, so it's kind of irrelevant. There we go. Just max out that attack for the damage. I don't really need anything else. Cortana is kind of a max kind of Pokemon, unless you run the speed boosting set, then it gets a little tricky. But typically you'll run max and then choose you want to go Adamant or Jelly. This can also put in a lot of work, and with the Beast Boost Choice Band, that's like just a lot of damage. Once I get rid of certain mons, I can spam a certain move. If I get rid of Registeel, I'm pretty free to just quickly play. Venusaur as well, that's also good. Again, I have the Psycho Cut for like Venusaur and the Infernape. Mach Punch / Vacuum Wave, which I don't think he brings. Our Infernape doesn't take me out. You know, I'm actually gonna run that now because I didn't think of that. If he brought a special, and I already got destroyed by a Vacuum Wave once. So, Vacuum Wave just killed. That's Life Orb with the Wise Glove. That still kills me, even with the HP, but that doesn't matter. I guess Scout for that. I don't think he brings that. If he brings Mach, I know for a fact Mach doesn't do me in. If I go Max Attack, Adamant, Muscle Band. Yeah, Mach doesn't even do half. So if he's physical, I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, base boosting, breakthrough shit, spike and spin block, break shit and taunt, deal with Thunderous, and then momentum and deal with Thunderous. That's the team. I've been rambling for a really fucking long time. So let's get to the battle.
What's up, guys? So we're here with the battle. I am doing post commentary not because of any issues, just because that this battle was very long. And I know my battles are usually long. But not to like put blame, but it was more so on Dave. And my commentary was not entertaining, I don't think. Because I would click a move and then not know what to say. So I'm doing post-com. I'm sorry if you enjoy live com. But we're gonna post-com this. So Dave brought Mega Venusaur, Thunderous, Infernape, Crocodile, Vaporeon, and Mesprit. I thought that Mesprit was gonna be a Registeel. It was a good bringer on his end, and you'll see throughout the match why this Mesprit was better to bring than Registeel. I predicted the rest of his team to come, and looking at the lead, I'm not entirely sure what he would lead with, but no matter what, I can guarantee get up one layer of Spike if I lead with Frostlass, so I am going to do that. As he leads with Vaporeon, which I thought was a very strange lead, so I get up a free Spike. He scalds me. I'm bulky. I disable his Scald with Curse Body, so I get another free Spike because he can't do anything. He does not have hazard removal. He goes into Mesprit. I taunt it, so he cannot get up Stealth Rock. And I just get up 3 layers of Spike. Here he goes for Zen Headbutt. And brings me down. I'm burned, so I'm getting whittled down. And this whole game, I made really safe plays. I could have saved this for Death Fodder or to like Revenge Kill something. But instead, I just let it go down. I went for D-Bond, but he swapped out. So Vaporeon takes a lot of Spike damage, and now I get to bring something in. these plays here, this confused the fuck out of me. So, I bring in Conkelder on the Vaporeon. I could be packing like Thunder Punch or something. And because Vaporeon typically runs like Scald, Toxic, like Wish Protect, I'm like, he doesn't want to status me because of Guts. So he's gonna probably swap out. If he's predicting like a Thunder Punch, he would go into like Venusaur or Crocodile, both of which I would hit really hard with an Ice Punch. So I predicted the Ice Punch. I went for the Ice Punch predicting a switch. But he didn't swap out, and what he actually does is go for a Toxic. So he's giving me Guts. And I did not understand this play. Afterwards, he told me that he wanted to Toxic Conkelder because it would whittle me down more than if I had a Flame Orb, which I didn't have. I don't agree with that. You don't. On the off chance I don't have a Flame Orb, then you gave me Guts. Like I'm gonna Assault Vest Conkelder. I don't have a Flame Orb, so all you did was benefit me. Whereas if I did have Flame Orb, like the payoff isn't big enough to like go with that logic. So he gives me Guts there. And my Edge Punch did nothing. He goes for Protect, and I'm upset because I hate fucking Toxic Protect. Facade does the most damage to Vaporeon. Here I go for Facade. You see it does 63%. He goes for a Wish. I'm getting worn down by Toxic a lot, so I'm going to swap out here. Go into Kartana because I know he's going to Protect. And here, again, making safe plays. I definitely could have made this read. It was so easy, but I didn't go for it. He brings in the Venusaur on my Leaf Blade. It does 17. Remember, this is Bandit Kartana. So I swap into Darmanitan because I don't think my Venusaur can do too much to me, and he just goes for a safe Synthesis. He goes Vaporeon. That's not a switch in. Flare Blitz. Boom. I made it fucking Bandit Darmanitan. He goes for Tech for no reason. And then I will take him out with another Flare Blitz. So Vaporeon's gone. Don't have to worry about Wish passes. He goes into Infernape. Infernape could take me out here. So I'm going to swap into Conkelder. He goes for the Stone Edge. And then I sack Conk here to the Fire Punch. Because the rest of my Mons are important. So I go for a turn. This Mesprit is so fat. I went for a return there because it was a roll heavily in my favor to kill Infernape there. I didn't want to go for Brave Bird in case he made the offensive switch into Thundurus, but I figured a return with 2-hit KO anything that he brought in, but clearly it did not do that to this Mesprit. So it's a very bulky Mesprit. It's max HP, it's actually max Spadef. It doesn't have defensive estimate. I don't think. I find that out later on, but just the fact that Mesprit was able to take that was very worrisome because he could get a Brock here, and I really didn't want that considering two of my biggest threats against him right now are the Scarf Braviary and Banded Darm. So I make the switch into Darmanitan. He goes for T-Wave, which I guess I can understand because he figured Braviary was Scarf, so he wanted to paralyze it. And I had thought about going Nidoking, but if he went for Rocks, I wanted to just have Darm in and be able to Flare Blitz something, but in hindsight, just going Nidoking was probably the better play. But then again, he also had, if he had Psychic, it did a lot to me, so I'm not sure. One of my two offensive threats there was going to get crippled in some way. So Darm is the one that takes the paralysis. He swaps out. He goes into the Crocodile as I go for the U-turn. Get out of there. Through Intimidate. Look, this thing's at 31%. I go into Nidoking. And here I go for the Ice Beam. And here you see that doesn't do that much to this Mesprit. It's very bulky. This is modest Life Orb Sheer Force Nidoking. I had thought about going for the Earth Power on the potential offensive switch into Infernape on an Ice Beam, but I figured Ice Beam was the best bet because even if Infernape came in to take it, he would be taking a lot of spikes damage, and I just want to get rid of that thing. So it's a really good thing that I went for that Ice Beam, and I barely take out this Mesprit with the Sludge Wave afterwards. So the Mesprit's gone, which is huge. Infernape comes back in. I go into Kartana, scouting, scouting if he has Earthquake, because nothing else he did would take me out. So if he had Earthquake and went for it, then the switch into Kartana would have been really good. It would have had me in a good position. But that's not what he did. He just went for a Fire Punch, which Nidoking could have eaten, and I would have taken him out. So Kartana goes down, unfortunately. I go back into Braviary. I can click return again. He goes into Mega Venusaur. Oh no, I go for a Brave Bird actually. Because I figured he might want to go Venusaur. He goes into Thundurus now. So here, this is where the battle gets complicated. So it's 3-on-3 right now. It's basically 2 threats against 2 threats. It's Thundurus and Infernape against Braviary and Nidoking. My Darmanitan is paralyzed, so it's crippled, and the Crocodile is at a very low amount of HP and gets outsped by everything on my team. So the thing here is the only thing that outspeeds this Thundurus on my team is Scarf Braviary, but it cannot one-shot it. So I need Nidoking to eat a hit from Thundurus and take it out with Ice Beam. So it's a matter of preserving. I had to preserve things properly, and the way I went about it was sacking Darmanitan, which actually can live a T-Bolt because of how much health investment I have. But taking an attack from this thing does give me information, because that is Wise Glasses damage, which is really important. If he was Psychium Z with Extra Sensory, he won the game, because he'd be able to one-shot Nidoking. Regular Extra Sensory, Nidoking's at full HP, would not take it out. What I could have done, I could have made the aggressive switch into Nidoking on the Thunderbolt, but whenever I play against Dave, I just make really safe plays. Cause at this point I was like, I'm pretty sure I can win this game. But if I take a risk and it doesn't pay off, then I just lose. So I played it safe. He takes Psychic, not Extra Sensory, sorry, and he takes out my Darm. So here he makes a pretty, I guess, obvious sack of the Crocodile, because if he sacks Crocodile, both of his other threats outspeed Nidoking, which is huge because I cannot have Nidoking take damage from Infernape because I needed to take a hit from Thundurus. What I could have done here, which earlier on in the battle I had thought of doing, that I wanted to get done, was switching in Braviary on Crocodile to get the Defiant boost. However, at this point in the game, I was so in the mindset of I had all the plays lined up in my head of what I needed to do to win, and I just stuck with that. Whereas if I looked at my options, I could have switched into Braviary on the Crocodile, and I could have swapped from there because +1 return would take out Thundurus. So at that point I would have swapped, but I didn't do that. I went just for the attack as he sacked Crocodile. Crocodile wasn't anything this game, which is great. Go into Ape. I swap into Braviary because I know I can take a Fire Punch, and I just get to go for a return here and take out Infernape. Now he's going to go Thundurus. I'm just going to go for return, sack this. He goes for the Psychic on the potential switching into Nidoking, which is fine. Now I go Nidoking. I can live any hit, and I just take him out with an Ice Beam. So this was the difficult game. The Mesprit proved to be an issue. If he had brought Registeel, that would have been a lot easier to deal with because Nidoking and Darm dealt with it so easily along with the spike. But Mesprit not being affected by spikes made it difficult to take down. If he put up Stealth Rock when he had the chance, instead of T-Waving Darm, I'm not sure how the game would have gone because Braviary would have had to take rocks, and as we saw from the recoil, I was left at like 20% after, I forgot what it was. I remember seeing, yeah, here I was at, this was like 20%, so I wouldn't be at that much. I think that was from like Brave Birding Venusaur, all the recoil I took. So that wouldn't have happened, but Darmanitan wouldn't have been paralyzed. So I don't know how it would have gone if he did that. The spikes helped a lot because it made Crocodile not a factor. It guaranteed the kill on Mega Venusaur with Braviary, because otherwise it was a roll to take it out from full. And this Infernape, whittling the Infernape down with the spikes also guaranteed kills with Braviary with returns, so I wouldn't be forced to go for Brave Bird, because that allowed him, like he would have had the potential to swap into Thundurus aggressively on Brave Bird. So the spikes did help out. The Vaporeon play with Conk, that was weird. I didn't I didn't get it. But yeah, the game was Nidoking and Braviary really. Like Darm took out Vaporeon, which sounds weird. But the rest of the game was Nidoking and Braviary. The Scarf Braviary was a pretty late addition. But it was definitely one of the best sets I brought, and Nidoking just doing Nidoking things. Modest Life of Shearforce. It was just really good. Like I know week 1, people kind of gave me some shit for bringing a no attacks Nidoking. It was full utility. But no, I can use like regular fucking Nidoking. Shit's fun. But yeah, that's the match. We win 1-0. So back to these narrow victories. We are going up against Rishmal next week. Rishmal, the fucker that took Starmie, is what I'm going to refer to him as. And that's my fucking Starmie. I wanted Starmie. He also denied trading with me, so I'm going to have to murder him because I want Starmie. It's too late now. I've made a trade, which I'll talk about in the next week's video. I'll talk about the trade I made, which is my final free agent transaction. And yeah, so that was that. We won again. We are currently second in our division, only behind Colton, who is currently undefeated. Only one of 2 teams that's undefeated at this point, the other one being Cern, who is in the other division. And Colton's getting massive victories too. He has a giant lead right now. So it's going to be really difficult to catch up. I need to not drop games, I need to get bigger wins and hope that he starts losing to people. So that's the battle, and I'll see you guys next time.